So hi, good afternoon. It's Thursday today, it's 2:15, so it's time for Exercise Live. So a slightly different session today. Really going to be focusing on posture, but also looking at people that have got back issues. So I've been actually getting quite a lot of messages from people how the exercise is relieving their back issues, etc. So with it being World Posture Month in May, I thought doing a specific session for posture, backs and necks, and hopefully you'll find it useful. So if you're coming on for your general session, it's certainly not a waste of time. Imagine that this is like the foundation of taking part in any exercise. It is really important that the foundation is in really good condition before you start overloading that body, the bones, the muscles with any extra stress of exercise without the foundation being in somewhat good condition. So come on in. So you're still going to need your general stuff today, so if you've got some hand weights then please get them. You are going to need an ultra fashionable exercise tool, otherwise known as a chair, and some water. Okay, so we are going to get started because I am a little bit later today, so I'll be right with you, okay? Great. So in my job of rehab, I do tend to work with people that have had long-term back problems, and during their time of experiencing back pain, they've probably sought quite a lot of therapists and instructors, from chiropractors to osteopaths to masseuses, aromatherapy and all kinds of things, and I am open to absolutely everything. What I'm not open to though is when a long-standing back problem is getting treated by the same person, and after 6 months there's no change, then it's maybe looking at something else, okay? So certainly one of the things that I would look at when someone comes to me for if they have back pain. Now what is back pain, okay? Because if you were to have some x-rays, you might find that there's some degeneration in the spine. But does that then warrant the level of pain that you're experiencing? And if it meant that the degeneration meant pain, it would mean that everybody then that has degeneration should experience pain. And that is just not the case. So what is that other sort of missing link? What is that other factor? So certainly in my job, my training, so what I do is I would do a couple of tests with people. I would do a posture check. I would do a biomechanical analysis, so we're not doing that today because we don't have time. And I would do a walking gait analysis, and we don't have time for that. So today is really looking at what you can be doing at home just now in this lockdown and having a look at posture. So, what I tend to find is that when I do a posture check with people who are presenting to me with long-term back problems, their posture is never good. Never good. So there's a common link. So they have bad posture. Once I've done some other tests, I can see that they've got some weak muscle patterns and some very tight muscles. And there is also another common link with excess weight. So a little bit of extra layers, certainly around this area, so not ideal. Okay, so let's just crack on with this posture. So you will get a little workout today, but please remember we are focusing on tight backs, stiff necks, some homework that you can be doing to try and alleviate these back issues during the lockdown, okay? So I'm going to turn side on, so hopefully you can see I've managed to find some dots. I couldn't find them all unfortunately, so I'm missing a few. So what I tend to see with people is if I just get a little bit bent out of shape, actually if I take this one, sorry, and if I put that here, okay, I sort of see this a lot. It doesn't really look that great, does it? So the fact that it doesn't look that great should be a little bit of an indicator. So the head is a little bit forward, sometimes the shoulders are forward, and there's a little bit of a hyperextension. Now if I come a little bit closer, you can see that I've got one of these stickies on my ear, I've got one on my shoulder, and one on my hip. Now technically, this should be a straight line. So it should sort of look a bit like that, everybody. But I see a lot of this, so you can see, if we were to join these dots up, they are certainly not straight, okay? So I see a lot of this, look. See a lot of this. Compression, abdomen out further than the bust, men and women, okay? So it's not just a woman thing. So the abdomen is out because there's a bit of sort of compression, a bit of here, a bit of sunken. The head is protruded. A lot of keyboard stuff, phoning, driving, and this is the result. So I then look at someone who comes to me, I'll get them all into position and I'll say, right, shut your eyes and stand up straight. And then they think that this is standing up straight. And then there is challenges with backs. Okay, so hopefully that was a good visual. So if you feel up to it, okay, and I know that this is a big ask, I am going to be running a posture workshop, okay, in about 2 weeks. So it'll be a live, I'm going to do a live Facebook posture workshop. You'll all get an invite. But what would be good if someone felt that they could nominate themselves as a real live candidate for the posture workshop, okay? So what you would do is you would send me some photographs side on. I would do all my bits and bobs with my app and put some lines on it and all this kind of stuff. And then if you felt like it, we could discuss it on the real live workshop. But as a gift from me, you would get some posture correction sessions, okay? So it's a little give back. So anyway, getting back to everybody here today. So what I'm going to ask that you do, in the privacy of your own home, go and stand side on in front of a mirror, okay? And let's see if you've got any of these things here. First of all, you've got to decide, do you have back pain? Do you have neck pain? Are you constantly seeing therapists for years for manipulations or massages, and then the pain will, you know, alleviate for maybe a week, and then it's time for you to get your treatment? That is no way to live, okay? That is absolutely no way to live in this day and age. It never has been, but certainly no way to live. So we're going to look at correcting some of these issues today, and we're going to do some little exercises for those issues, okay? Now, what I want you to think about is, so we've got some curves in the spine, and that is there for impact, okay? So when you jump up and down, okay, the spine is designed, so let's be really clear, a bad back is just a term, isn't it? Because the problem can be lots of places. It is common in the low lumbar, but trust me, in my 20 odd years of working with back pain, it can be in all various places. So what I want you to think about just now is your body from here up in 4 sections, okay? So you've got the pelvis area, you've then got your thoracic area, you've got your cervical area, and here, sorry, you've got your lumbar area here, okay? So I want you to think about your 4 stacks in a row, okay? So hopefully that's a visual. So they should look a bit like this: bump, 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 right? So that would be this person in a sort of a line, okay? But here's what I see: stack, 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 stack. So hopefully that's a visual, yeah? So I see this, 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 and then this. And what that looks like is this, this, that. So imagine you're walking about like that all the time, and then you're driving and you're sitting, and think about the quality of life. You're going to know more about that than me. So you're going to be not able to do lots and lots of activities. You'll think, I can't do any exercise because my back's always in agony. I can't have a long lie. My sex life has been affected. My work life has been affected. My social life has been affected. I have heard it all in 20 years with people with long-term back problems. So once I've had a look here and done, at last, the test lasts a while. So this is just a jump into this, okay, for your benefit. So what I want you to think about is this stack here in a row. Oh, I've lost my button, don't worry. This bit here. Now, we did mention the other day, I would like you to think about bringing it here into neutral, if you could. But the thing is, going from that position into here could actually be too much too soon. Because if you've spent so many years in that hyperextension, now it's not quite this, but you'll get my point. It's about like me saying, fantastic, jump into my flexibility class and let's just do the splits. You'd be like, that, are you kidding me on? So this is why it takes a while, okay? So I would be asking you to say over the next weeks or months, whatever it takes, to start just adjusting every day, just trying to adjust, because you're wanting to lengthen into here. Because if you can imagine, if you've been a bit like this, think about all the compression. Could you imagine that spot here? Okay, quite a lot of compression here. Here, it's getting lengthened. So I'm trying to get you from here to get it under into neutral, but over a period of time. But that's only this area. Then you've got this area, and sometimes I see a little bit of this, look. So you'd have to have a wee look in the mirror. Do you stand like this, or is he a bit like this? And so then I have to fix all of this. So now I'm just standing like that for a few seconds, and oh my God, see the pain right in here, So I have to do a lot of correction sometimes of this area. Now that's the second stack. This bit up here, it could be here. So if I turn side on, sometimes I can see someone, in fact I'll go this way so you can see the dots. Sometimes I'll see someone who's a bit forward on one shoulder. They might even be forward and elevated on one side. Lots of things. And then the head position, so I'll see lots of, just so you can see, I can see lots of here. And I see lots of here, and I see lots of dips, and I see lots of here, and people aren't aware that they're doing all these things. So can you imagine if you've got things to fix here that have nothing to do with here, okay, because that really hasn't really caused that, unless there's been some visual issues, okay, but we're not getting into, remember this is just a very broad workshop. We could go into visual and auditory, but that's what I do with clients. So anyway, so could you imagine that if you have been a little bit there and here, so you can see that there's something to be done in this square, this section, there's something to be done here, there's something to be done here to get all your stacks in a row. So hopefully that's beginning to make a little bit of sense. So you also may have a little issue there, you might be a bit like here, and you might be a little bit hyperextended as well. I see lots of this. Now if I turn round, trust me, I see lots of people in everyday life walking about like that permanently, and there's a good chance that they're going to have back pain, and certainly when they come to me, they've got back pain, but they're in these all sorts of positions. And that's people that's been getting other kinds of treatment for years. Okay, treatment and various kinds of professionals treating this, but never looking at how we actually prevent or address their posture, their muscle system. So all of this is invariably weaknesses. So hopefully you can see that it makes sense that if you begin to correct and strengthen where your weaknesses are, you are leading yourself to becoming pain-free or massively, massively, massively reduced pain. Okay, so sorry, I do get a bit passionate about it because I do get a little bit frustrated about other professionals keeping you as clients and patients for years, but very, very little corrections and improvements done. Oh, I keep losing my dot, never mind. Okay, so here's what you're going to think about just now. Okay, so you're tucking that under. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to do a little exercise for these abdominal muscles, just a simple standing exercise, and then we're going to do something for all the other stacks, and then we're going to look at this head position, okay? So what I want you to think about is, if I stand side on, I want you to think about tucking through that way, okay? Tucking through that way. Now that though means that you can actually get here. So remember, if you're already here, getting all the way to here to do this can be a little bit problematic. And this is when you would either do some floor exercises, but please don't panic. I do love it when, and I'm probably saying it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, when maybe some stretching classes, you know, yoga and Pilates, yeah, just get down on the floor and let's do some back work. Don't know about you, but the reality of me, when I meet people with back problems, the thought of getting down on the floor is an absolute no-no, because the thought of getting up is an absolute no-no. So you've got to be very, very inventive. So I've got a wall here, as you can see. So it's unfortunate the wall isn't side on so you can see what I'm doing. But what I would get you to do against the wall is you would push your bum against the wall, walk the feet forward, and then what you're trying to do is you're trying to put the small of the back and flatten it out against the wall. So that would be actually very similar to you lying on the floor. Imagine it's lying on the floor and you've pushed your low back into the floor, and your knees would be bent and your feet would be flat. Hopefully you can imagine that. But what this does, it allows you the option of doing it standing up without the thought, the dreaded thought, certainly in my experience, people with backs, the dreaded thought of getting someone down and up. It's impossible. The pain is too much, and the psychological concern of that is a no-no. So that just does not happen. Hopefully you could feel, if you are doing this, that it's actually really comfortable. And when you're here, you can then think about tucking forward these abdominals. So I don't know if you can see, probably not, but what I'm doing is I'm tucking up into these abdominals and I'm allowing a little bit of relief on my low back here. So tuck them up. So 4, good, on 3, come on 2, on 1, and then step up. Now the reason I've got the chair is because one of the other things that I find is some muscle challenges. So muscle strength is a problem, i.e. muscles are too weak, and they're also not flexible enough, they're all short and tight, okay? So there's a really interesting statistic that 9 out of 10 back problems are eradicated with correcting hamstring length, right? So these muscles at the backs of the legs, amazing. So use your chair, we're going to pick up that leg and have that leg out here, okay? And all that I'm going to ask you to do is nothing, because what you'll find is that height alone may be enough for some people that they're actually getting a hamstring stretch. This is about a 45-degree angle for me. Now personally, I don't feel anything in my hamstrings at this. This is too low because I've got I've got normal hamstring capabilities, I suppose, if you want to call it that. But if you've got tight hamstrings at 45 degrees, you're going to feel this, okay? Now if you're not feeling it, I would ask that you put your hand, keep all this pulled in, and just lean forward slightly, and that's just going to bring on that hamstring. And again, if we use that Borg scale, okay, for effort, don't be any more than a 3. So if this position is agony, you might be thinking, no, it's about an 8 or a 9 on the Borg scale. Stand up, everyone, get out of it, okay? I want a gentle stretch and you would be looking at holding that stretch for about 45 seconds. So that's probably been our 45 seconds. So keep that middle nice and tight now as you lift and put the feet down, okay? And we're going to lift this other leg up. And the thing is, both sides of the body are never the same. Very, very rarely, okay? So you might find that you've got tightness in one side that you didn't have in the other side, and that is something that I would consider. Is that a temporary tightness, or if that's a permanent thing, we would begin to look at what is causing that, and is that then what's contributing to the back pain. So believe it or not, sometimes I find tight butt muscles are massively responsible for lots of pain that people are feeling in their backs. So hopefully you're feeling a stretch in the hamstring. If you're not, you can lean into it, but a small number on that Borg scale, okay? So just hold that there, okay. So remember, if I pick up this dot so that you can see, okay, so you're trying to have, you would try to have your ear, shoulder, hip and knee in effectively a straight line. So we're trying to get rid of any of this. So please remember, have a look in your mirrors and see if this is you, okay? Right, so we just did a little bit of work on this area here. Now the next, remember we did the stacks, okay? So this would be here, 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks in a row, and the head is a totally other issue. So we've just done the bottom stack. So what I want you to think about now is this, well, the two lower stacks, to be fair, we've just covered them. Sorry if I'm confusing you, okay, so we've just covered them. I want you to think now of this area here, okay, this area around here, okay. So as I say, I see this a lot of times. I also see a bit of compression, and people will notice that their shoulders aren't square, and what they automatically do is they automatically try to square off their shoulders. But what they've not realised is they've got a bit of a compression here. So although they square off, they don't do anything about this middle bit and keep it short. Now, what is really crazy, so I've naturally compressed. So I'm impinging a nerve. So I've now got nerve pain here. Oh yeah. And I've got nerve pain, down my leg, into my foot, crazy, so I'm going to come out of that. And that's me just standing in like that for seconds, and my nerves have went, it has literally got on my nerves, okay? So no more. So this area here, you need to have a good look at yourself, everybody, okay? So remember, if you think that your shoulders are square, are you compressed anywhere through here? Now that may be the result of surgery, all kinds of things. With the greatest of respect, it doesn't matter what's caused it, we're looking at correcting it, okay? So this area here, what I would get you to think about is lengthening. So where there's compression, and also you don't want to be doing all this to your organs, so not gets a whole other situation. So see, posture and organs, big connection. So if you're compressed, not great for your organs do need a little bit of space, and if you're compressing and you're a little bit weighty, then your organs don't have any space, and they need the space. So you would be trying to lengthen into this area here, and if you are a little bit bent out of shape, then it is a case of not simply, but yourself beginning to look and see, are there any challenges? Now, there is an exercise that we do. It is a little bit difficult to see, so maybe because I've got black. Oh no, if I step back, it's just so you can see it against the white. Hopefully you can see, so my lat is going to expand out to the side. And if I do this side, yeah, and if I do a lat spread, you can sort of see this begins to get a little bit wider here. So that would be one of the exercises, one of many that I would be working with clients whilst you're trying to maintain posture. You're trying to recorrect some issues. It's an issue called proprioception. It's your awareness of your body in time and space. So you'd be looking at working into here, but you need to know if you have a problem in this area. Now, where we are going to do a little bit of work is this cervical, let me come in, a bit of here, okay? So that can be, if you are like that because of typing, driving, texting, okay, and you're beginning to get all these things happening at the back of the head and the neck, then this becoming a bit of a precursor for Dowager's hump. As far as I'm aware, it's not hereditary, so when I hear people say, oh, but my mum had that and my auntie had that, there's no correlation. It's usually, unfortunately, it is a behaviour issue, okay? So, this upper back, but if you've got that and you're a little bit compressed, if I just grab these tins here, could you see why just working in that phase of that hump, why that's not going to do very much? Because all you're doing is laying down that muscle memory of keeping the hump, okay? So you're trying to lengthen and correct where possible. Now I've had amazing corrections, some cracking upper body challenges and some amazing results, but you've got to put in the work. So let's have a look at that upper back, okay? So when you have a look side on at yourself, please have a look and see if I can try and create this. Try and have a look and see if you've got a bit of this going on here. That gives you enough. And if you've got that going on, there's a good chance that you've got the head protrusion. And what happens is it comes up and then the eyes come up. Because the eyes are still, the brain's still encouraging the eyes to look forward. So although the head is going down, you get this and the chin and everything comes out. So have a little look, okay? If you do find that you've got that, then here, that's fine. That's why we're doing this session. So you've got your tins. Now we have done this exercise, so it won't be new. If you've been joining me, you have done it, but now you're getting to see why it's important and to trying to put it into context, okay? So if I turn side on, and you would have a look now, try and get it away from the black so you can see. So if I had a hump, okay, I would try, and certainly I would be working with my clients, pushing this forward to straighten that, and as they come forward, now you might still have a bit of a hump, but what you're doing is you're trying to correct, you're working those muscles so that they can develop enough strength that allows you to sit like this, as opposed to your fall back position, which is this. Then there would be lots of work to do across the chest, because if you can imagine, if this is all lengthening and getting bent out of shape, the shoulders are coming forward and these muscles across here are coming in. We need to get all that up and back. But that is just not a movement does that, because if you just do that, you won't stay like that, you'll go back to your default position. So you've got to train the muscles, okay? So, try and keep that back straight. Pull the shoulder blades together as if you're closing the curtains, okay? Now activate the shoulder blades first. So look, without the weights, you keep your weights, let me just show you something. Look, if I just close my curtains, let my arms move, okay? So you're going to hold, hold, hold. Good. Now this time just bring it back and hold, and then pulse, squeeze, draw those curtains, draw them for 4, draw them for 3, draw them for 2, and draw them for 1. Okay? So come on, stand up out of that just now, okay? So tuck under. If you can, remember, if you've got a big hyperextension, it's going to take weeks. Pull the belly button towards the spine without elevating through here. So you're not doing, no, just pull back here. Now lengthen this bit here, lengthen it. And think about lengthening here and getting the shoulder blades ever so slightly to feel as if they're touching, so you've slightly closed the curtains. And the head is like a turtle, and instead of the head being here, you're trying to get the head back and in line. So here's something else I'm going to get you to try. You don't have to dash off yet. You would get a cushion. Now obviously I've got, well, this is my mum, she's got a painting up here, so I don't want to knock it off the wall, but if I put that there, and put the cushion behind my head, you would retract the head, bring back the shoulders, and retract the head into the cushion. And I'll come and show you what I mean by that, okay? Let me show you what I mean. So you're not doing any of this, and you're not doing that either, okay? You're doing this. Now I'll show you that again, sorry. So if you're here, you're trying to pull back like a turtle. Now don't be surprised if you feel that into this cervical area, that's exactly where you're going to feel that. And by keeping that area loose and flexible, that's what allows you to, helps with all this kind of stuff. So if that upper back is seized, and when will those things be more noticeable? When you're driving, trying to reverse the car. So when I do a test with clients, I'll find that they can't do the head round to check the reversing mirror. They've got to move the body, and the body's become quite solid, okay? So hopefully you can see what I was doing. I was doing a little bit of a retraction. Now the other thing is, please, with that, if you look side on and you see that you've got quite a big forward head protrusion, consider this a 6-month job, not a 6-minute job, okay? Because I would want you to slowly just begin to retract little bit by little bit by little bit, because you're going to have here to work on. And what I normally find is very rarely does someone have that without that. So you're going to have this stack to fix, this, probably something here, and definitely something here. So it's going to take a little bit of a time. You're going to maybe have to work one section at a time, because that's a lot for the brain to fix or to think about. And then work a couple of stacks together, and then work those exercises together. So what that means in simple terms is, say for example you're going to do the head one on the pillow. You would want to do the head one, but also try and have a straighter upper back. So you would be trying to work on this area also, because just doing this when you've got the humph, that's not ideal. So you can see how you're having to work a couple of things at once. So when you're doing your turtle thing, so if you're here, a little bit of a retraction, and I would just hold that for maybe a count of 1, 2, 3, certainly in the early days, okay? So let's just run through this again before we finish up for today's session, okay? So take the time and go and stand front on and side on to a mirror, okay? So even if you're in shorts and a wee top, if it's a guy, pair of shorts, whatever you're doing, stand in front of that mirror and have a look, okay? So from the front, you're looking to see things that look a little bit like this, this. You might even have one hip is slightly forward, and I don't know if you can see that because I'm in black. But what you want to do is when you look, if you look down, you might see that you're twisted off, because you might see that one leg is sat slightly in front of the other. So maybe if I do it side on, yeah, look, hopefully you can see that this leg is slightly forward, so I see a lot of this. So you'd be wanting to just have a look. So you've checked here, there's one. You've maybe got this, but you just think it's the shoulder, so you're frequently raising your shoulder, but it's not really getting any better, but your shoulders are square, but you've still got a compression somewhere, okay? And then you've got a curve and a rounded shoulders here, and then you've got this. So hopefully you can see now that it's all in sections, and I would get you to look at each section as you're doing in the mirror, front on and side on, and see if you can notice anything. And my offer still stands, so I will be doing a posture workshop live in a couple of weeks. It would be great if I had some real life people and real life pictures. I mean, I can use client stuff from before. I'm sure previous clients wouldn't mind if I showed their photographs and stuff, but it would be nice to do it with someone new, okay? So please get in touch. Hopefully you found this useful. As I say, please don't be disappointed if it wasn't a workout session in a sense today, because the foundation of the body is absolutely paramount. Imagine the foundation of a house, the foundation of anything has to be in great condition. And it is not really advisable if you're all a bit bent out of shape and you're pumping iron and stuff, because it's just not great, okay? So a couple of takeaways then for today. Please have a look at your posture, okay? Have a look, side on, front on, see what's happening. Think about this compression, you know, are you compressed in the middle? Think about what it's doing here to your organs. Is there excess fat around here that you would want to consider getting rid of, okay, because that is a bit of a challenge. One of the things I didn't mention is it's very, very hard to engage, to use abdominal muscles when there's layers of fat getting in the road, okay, so that's not ideal. Think about this upper area here, more so in the back. Have you got the humph, okay, literally? So you're trying to draw those, trying to shut the curtains, okay? And think about that head position and use a pillow against a wall and just bringing the head back. And then remember that one that we did here. So you're down, oh, I mean, it's heaven. Even if there's nothing wrong with your back, give your back a break at times. Be nice to it, take the pressure off. So you're getting the flat of your back pushed into that wall. And why are we doing the standing up? Not everyone, for any reason, can get down on the floor and get up. Who would want to try that if it's a problem? So that way you get a chance to do it. If you don't want to do it on the wall, when you get into bed at night, bend the legs and try and tuck your back, lower back, up the way, and you'll find that the back flattens and you'll get a nice stretch and a nice easing of the lower back. So thanks very much for today. Normal session tonight. So tonight is a beginner's intermediate. So if you feel that you have missed out on your workout today, jump on in tonight. That'll be normal. But please get in touch about the workshop if you would be open to yourself being like a client, and we could use your real life example. Then just please get in touch with me privately, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, 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 bye.